So next at Virtual Expo, we have Jeremy Brech here, who's going to be showing us some lighting that could be used in a situation where you're going to be illuminating the loft area of the barn. Now, Jeremy, that's been kind of a big thing. A lot of people in the upper Midwest are doing that, and you've got some options from Chauvet DJ of lighting that they could be using. So let's kind of walk through some of the lighting you've got there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of funny because a lot of people think Midwest, they think of barns, but I mean, everybody across the country, barns are kind of the new trend. Actually, they've been about a trend for 5 years, but now people are realizing that they can't just use the natural light because, again, once the sun goes down, they don't have light. And they have probably your normal barn lighting. So to actually add some nice ambiance in there, you have to use, first of all, the right color temperatures. If they're in a barn, they probably like that antique feel or that natural look. If you use cool lighting inside a barn, it's not going to match the feel of what that barn is really portraying for that couple. So if they picked out a barn, they're probably going to do more earth tones, more warm tones, and that's exactly some of the things that we can achieve with some of these lights, and having the right fixtures is going to create that success for you. So John, let's start off with this right here. This is actually the Core Par, and this is the Core Par 80. The cool thing about this fixture is it is a core style fixture, which means, I'm sorry, a chip on board fixture, which means it can actually mix the color inside and then use the reflective cup to spread the light. So right now it has this lens on here, and there's a couple options you can do with this. The first thing is you can shoot this on your head table, because obviously the bride and groom, the wedding party, they're all sitting up on that table and they want to be noticed. Otherwise, they didn't put their head table up there for a purpose. They want to be seen, they want to be noticed, and this is the perfect fixture to be able to do that. Now, as you can see with this lens on here, it's an actual, see if I can get, there you go. So you can see in the background, right now it's just shooting a normal par style spread of light, which is about your 35 degree. Now once you take this lens off, it's actually going to spread almost double the size, and it's going to create a bigger spread of light. So now it's actually going all the way over to the sides there, to the sides over here. You can see some shadowing over here where Mitch is at. Maybe you can't see it on the camera, but trust me, it's there. But again, having this lens is going to tighten up the beam. Taking this off, it's going to widen that beam. And again, the important part of using a fixture like this is with the color mixing deep inside of the fixture and then spreading with that cone, what's happening is it's actually mixing the colors, so it's creating a good, again, mixture. So you don't see beams of white or beams of blue, beams of green, or beams of red. So it gives you a nice clean mixture of light. The next thing I want to go into is how do you create the overall ambiance? How do you light up this beautiful barn with the huge arches and the haylofts and things like that? The Washed FX is a great fixture to do that. Again, this is an RGB fixture. If you mix the color tones correctly, you can create the same color tones that the Core Par 80 and 40 can also do. So this is going to basically give you the full spread of light up into the ceiling, maybe down onto the floor if you want to create more of that full wash effect. Now, with the Wash FX, again, the cool thing with this is the amount of spread that this actually shoots. So it's going to give you about a 90-degree angle of light, which is a pretty powerful light. The brightness is pretty intense. I believe it's a 3 watt, but again, when this fixture actually is fired up and it's illuminating a room, you'd be amazed how much power this thing gives off. The other nice thing about this fixture, it's very affordable. Everybody can use this. The other thing, or the last thing, is it's not just a special effects light that you would see on a dance floor. It makes a great special effects light because it has a lot of built-in features. But again, this is a great light when you're doing any type of lighting production or if you're lighting up a room in any type. So a great fixture right there. Do you have any questions, John?
Well, I was just looking at it, and I want you to finish running through all the lights and such, and then I think what we're going to do is we're going to move over to one of the walls, and we're actually going to show those lights shining, because there's, as you're talking about it, there's some cool things, and I wanted to kind of see them, and I think maybe we can turn some lights down in one of the corners or something, but we'll play with that in just a minute. So let's go through, do the overview. And then we need to see those in action, because I think that for a lot of us, it's like we haven't seen these in action. So let's continue on, and we'll show them live here in a few minutes.
Okay, sounds good. So the other one I want to show you is the Chauvet Dimmer, and this is a regular dimmer 4-pack. and you can see there's 4 different channels. There's 8 outlets, which actually gives you an outlet, 2 outlets per channel. You can control, you can dim. And the reason I bring this up is because a lot of people like those bistro lights and they like the icicle lights that are actually strand through the barn. This is actually going to allow you to control all of that lighting. You can plug it right into here, you can dim it down. So when the sun is out and you still want that ambiance with those bistro lights or Edison lighting, you can have them at 100% intensity. As soon as it starts getting darker and you want to kind of set that mood, this dimmer pack is going to allow you to adjust with that. So again, it's one of those things that these dimmer packs they've been out for years and years and years, but again, they're not going anywhere because they're still very useful when it comes to lighting production. And also when you're doing a barn, again, if they're doing those Edisons or those bistro lights, this is a great way to actually be able to control it.
Now, Jeremy, you mentioned you mentioned the words icicle lights in that sentence there. Not all icicle lights. I mean, as we run to the store this time of the year, there's a lot of Christmas lights and things up there. Not all can work with that now. That wouldn't work with LED, is that correct? Correct.
And there are some. You want to make sure that you check on the package that you're buying. If it's a regular incandescent style icicle light, you're probably going to be okay there. Most incandescents are dimmable. The problems that you'll have with an LED icicle is the fact that some of them are not dimmable. If you get something that is cheap, probably not going to be dimmable. You pay for quality. And if you get something a little bit more expensive, you're probably going to have a little bit more opportunity to work with that or dim it and really create the ambiance that you're looking for.
Very cool, very cool. I was wondering about that because it's like, I think if I remember correctly, I had a dimmer and I used it with some of the older lights and it worked wonderfully, but I don't imagine LEDs work the same way.
Right, right. Yeah, and you know, with as much power that an incandescent LED, or I'm sorry, an incandescent icicle is going to pull, you're really not getting that much more efficiency out of using the LED, especially when you're using an application and you're lighting up a barn like that.
Yeah.
So again, it's all about using the right tones. If you're getting the LED icicles, make sure that they're warm and not they're cool, and using those in the barn, because again, if you're bringing in those cool lights, you're really taking away from the theme or the atmosphere of that barn.
Yeah, that's a great point, because yeah, with as you mentioned earlier, wanting to have those kind of those rustic colors, the browns and the earth tones, and now all of a sudden if I put blue LED, that blue hue around the room, it's just not going to look the same.
You know, that's one of the things that I probably see the most, and I don't know how many barn owners are going to allow you to put candles in there. So again, those are things you want to think about, is you might have to be the main source of light for that room. The other thing that I've noticed, and it just drives me nuts, and I have a whole seminar on this if you really want to go into it, but I hate when people mix a warm and a cool together. So they'll have the cool little, I don't even know what they are, the little LEDs that they'll drop in the flowers, and then they have candle lights all the way around that. It drives me nuts, because when you look at that, there's such a contrast in those color temperatures, and it's very distracting. It really takes away for what they're trying to create. If they're trying to create something cool, they need to stick with cool. If they're trying to create warm, they need to stick with warm. So going back into lighting up the barn, one of the things that I want to show is the new Intimidator 455Z, and this is their brand new light that just came out. I believe it launches in the next couple months here, but Chauvet actually did us a favor and they sent us this 455Z so we could have it in this presentation to basically you know, kind of tease you with a little bit. So the cool thing about this fixture, there's a couple different features that really shine, if you want to put it that way. There's some things that really really stand out. Yeah, you like that. I know you did. The first thing is the 180 watt LED. 180 watts of LED is going to give you a nice bright light. But the other thing, or the main thing I love about this, and I've been begging them for years to come up with the double Gobo wheel. The original 260 LED, or I'm sorry, the original LED Q-Spot 260 had the double Gobo wheel. We do a lot of Gobo Morphs. We do a lot of overlaying textures by having a Gobo and then just moving and putting some texture in the background of that, and to create that movement. So I actually programmed some things in here so you can see exactly what you can do with this fixture in creating different atmospheres. Now, the one thing that I really want to point out is, if you're using moving heads, don't just use them for your dance. I just talked to Mitch Taylor about this. Right, Mitch?
Hi.
just talked to Mitch Taylor about this. He said, you know, how can I really push and sell my moving heads? Well, in what I do, my moving heads are part of my performance. I use them in every single aspect of what I do, from the time the guests walk in, to that grand entrance, to the cake cutting, to the head table speeches, that first dance, and then creating that party atmosphere and creating the elegance during the slow dances. So to me, a moving head is a must. And some of the things that you can do with this fixture here is going to give you more production value. So it's not really, I have to upsell these lights, it's just raise your price because you're gonna raise your performance. And that's what it really comes down to, Mitch Taylor. So the 455Z, here's a simple texture that I did. And as you can see, can you see that? Yeah, you can kind of see that. What this is actually just a couple gobos in the background with a tri-prism, a little bit of movement, and overlaying those gobos, doing some movement with the gobos, it's actually creating this cloud effect. Now, when your guests walk in, again, you can create this cloud effect and give them that outdoor feel when they're walking in. It's bright enough so in the daylight, you're still going to be able to see this fixture. Jeremy, I'm sorry, you're still going to be able to see the light.
Jeremy, yes, now you've got it up and running and such. Can you take that microphone over by, how loud is that fixture? Because it seems very quiet for such a large fixture.
Can you please talk to us? That's all it's got.
That's all it's got.
Yeah.
You've got a fixture that. So my point is that you could be using these during that dinner time when people are coming in, and it's quiet.
Yep.
And it's going to do an incredible. That's a really cool effect.
Yeah, and you're right. Having a quality fixture and having the right components to make sure that you are creating the atmosphere, and like John said, you're not distracting. I know that there's certain fixtures that don't have fans at all, and to me, anything that is dead silent is going to be really important when it comes to guests walking in. So your music can actually do the talking and not your fixtures, because this fixture doesn't talk. Sorry, John.
No.
But again, the quality in the fixture, having good fans, having good bearings in those fans, that's really important. And do they wear down? Absolutely. But if you have a quality product, it's going to last a lot longer than if you have something that is cheap or...
For sure.
Yeah. I won't get into that session.
That's the afternoon session.
Yeah, good. So the next thing I want to show you is I'm going to turn off this little cloud effect that I created, and we're going to do, like I talked about, spotting the moment, giving the bride and groom their grand entrance. So there's a couple cool things with the zoom features of this, and just to give you a heads up, it's heading right towards you guys, okay? All right, so I'm going to turn off the dimmer quick, and then I'm going to put the spotlight on. Now this spotlight, again, if I have my guests of honor coming in right where you see that car show poster, I can shoot this all the way across, probably a good 100, 200 feet, and still make a beautiful entrance. Okay, so this allows me to actually tighten up that beam, and when you tighten up that beam, what it's doing is it's actually compressing the light, so it's going to give you more, we talked about lux, or more output when you actually tighten it up. Now, as soon as you make it wider, with the zoom feature, you can actually, again, create that distance if you are closer to the door than if you're further away from the door, using the tight beam when you're further away. The other thing is...
And that's fully controllable with your DMX software, where you can make it a slow zoom or a slow wash and follow the people as you're coming into the room.
Yep, exactly. So the next thing is, we talked about, if you're doing a cake cutting or if you're doing the speeches for the head table. Now, that is a different type of moment. And what I mean by that is when guests walk in, or when the bride and groom come in, that is a spotlight moment. Okay, that's one where you want to make it feel like they're coming in with a spotlight. But when you're cutting a cake, you don't want to spotlight that moment, you just want to highlight that moment. So what I recommend doing is actually fading it out, and you can actually see it becomes more of a soft edge as opposed to a hard edge.
Right. So
again, using a fixture like this is going to give you more production value in every single thing that you do. Now, here's the other thing I love about this. I'm going to turn off these quick, and I'm going to show you, we talked about the double gobo wheel and how much value that can bring to you. Now, adding that texture in the background can create some movement underneath your gobos, but the other thing is actually doing some gobo morphing. So we're going to show you that up into the ceiling here. So this is the first gobo, and then you can see it's actually going to morph into the second gobo. Oh, actually we're in like step 3 right now, so bear with me. But here you can see all we did is we just moved the second gobo in the background to create just a little flutter effect or a little moving texture. Can you see that okay?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. So then here's we're gonna go to the first gobo here.
Now is it going out of focus? Is that what's happening to it?
What's happening is I'm actually gonna just create some steps. So here is, all right, I should be able to go into step 1. Let's try step 2. Yeah, so what's happening is with the gobo, it's actually focusing in and out from gobo wheel 1 to gobo wheel number 2, and it's giving you the different gobos. Which I don't know if I actually got. I might have saved over the top. I think I did. It's a really cool effect.
So then one gobo is basically being held steady.
One static. Yep.
And then the other is...
Yep, one static, and then the other one is actually a pinwheel, and the pinwheel is moving slowly in the background. But what a Gobo Morph is, what you would see is you would actually see the pinwheel to start, and then from that pinwheel, what will happen is all of a sudden you start seeing the cross overlay of the second gobo wheel, and that one will come into focus. So the Gobo Morphing you'll see a lot in concerts, you'll see them a lot with bands, large bands, small bands, that type of thing. Gobo Morphing is very popular, and as a DJ, we want to kind of create the same atmosphere, the same energy that a band does. Because when people go to a concert, they go because they want that experience. If we can help create that experience using the right lighting, then it's going to make us more valuable to our clients. So again, the 455Z, a great fixture from Chauvet. Chauvet, thank you so much for shipping this to us, because I'm excited to play around with this. I know they haven't come out yet, but they're going to be a fun fixture to play with those double gobo wheels, prisms, all the details that are in this light. It's going to be one that's going to knock it out of the park. So, yeah.
Thank you, Chauvet.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool.
So some of the other things that I didn't bring with me, but obviously are always popular, the Freedom series from Chauvet DJ is always popular as well. It's a great uplight. They have the Hex series. They also have an IP series. Now, are you familiar with IP, John? Mm-hmm. Okay. So for some of you that are not, the IP series is actually rated for outdoors. So if you're doing a barn and it's, well, hopefully it's got a good roof on it, but if you're actually doing lighting on the outside of the barn, that's the important part. And that's where the IP fixtures are going to be very important, making sure that if there is any weather or if there's moisture on the ground, it's not going to ruin your fixtures. And we actually talked about this at LDI. If you have a fixture that you put outside and it gets rained on or it gets damaged because of weather, if you claim that to your insurance company, they're probably not going to cover you because that light is technically not rated for outdoors. So the IP fixtures are a very popular fixture as well.
And of course, the whole concept of wireless technology, we looked at a lot of that at LDI this year, where there are wireless things and ways to be able to transmit that signal. So you can do not only the loft of the barn, you can do the downstairs, or even, as you're saying with IP lights, the outside, and really have a light show that is kind of a continuously, evolving, moving, changing, what have you show. Yeah, exactly. And the cool thing, I can walk it over here. I'm going to unplug this fixture quick. And this is the core part. If you're not familiar with Chauvet's new technology, they actually have the USB transmitters and receivers that actually plug right into this fixture, and then you can send it through your regular DeFi that you use, whether it be on your board, if you have a board with built-in DeFi, or if you have other fixtures such as your Freedom Pars, you can actually transmit to any of these fixtures that have that built-in USB technology. And if you go to their page, there's actually a section just for USB technology fixtures or battery-powered fixtures. So if you really want to go wireless, those are some great things to look into. And it was really impressive in the booth, the way Rick had it set up, where one tree was controlling some freedoms over here, and it was controlling some different types of cob lighting over here, and it was all changing together, and it's like that, so it's really kind of cool.
So they basically kind of sequence together, and again, I mean, some of the things that they're building into these new fixtures, it's exciting on where the technology is going for us, and it's making our job so much easier.
Now, Jeremy, can we plug? You've got your hand on a light right there. We haven't had that one plugged in yet. Can you plug that one in and demonstrate?
Let's plug it in
and show us what it can do.
Yeah. So this is the Wash FX. This is a great fixture, which again spreads the light very drastically. I mean, it gives you a nice spread of about a 90-degree angle. We use these a lot for the ceiling wash. You can also use these if you're working in the barn and you need to go up into a hayloft and maybe shine it down onto the crowd for safety features. This is a great option as well. It's a very affordable light, and it also allows you to pick the colors that you want. You can mix the colors, so you can go right into this fixture and you can take down the reds, greens, and blues until you hit the tone of color that you're looking for. Now with the lenses that you see on here, again, what it's doing is it's actually mixing the colors right here at the fixture as opposed to as it goes up the wall. If you remember the technology a while back, that's what was happening before, was the light would actually be, you'd see streaks of red, streaks of blue, and streaks of green to actually create the light. Well, with these new lenses that they put in these fixtures, it's actually mixing it right there, and then it allows you, let me see if I can...
Blind Jake? Sure.
Yeah, let me see if I can blind Jake here real quick. But you can see it gives you a pretty clean color all the way from the start. Yeah. Now, looking at the fixture like the Slim Beam, you're going to see at the very beginning, you're going to see those little haze of blue, little haze of red when you're mixing purple, and that's because it's not a mixing filter. It's actually like a pin spot lens, which gives it the effect to make that fixture work. So yeah, you'd be amazed how much a lens can make a difference when it comes to your fixtures.
Some very cool stuff, Jeremy. Really neat to look at some lights, and then of course being able to see the 455Z. That's pretty cool.
Yes. And I don't know if it'll be making it back. So,
Jeremy, if people want to find out more information about the 455Z and other lights that you've had on display here, where can they go to check those out? Yeah, obviously you can go to Chauvet DJ's website, chauvetdj.com. You know, I am hoping that I can get a video done on this before I do have to send it back. It's going to be a sad day, but again, there's a lot of great features when it comes to this fixture. Go to their website. You can see some of their product videos that they have coming out. I know Rick, Alan, they all have some great videos out there. And then the team from Chauvet, again, they have everything available for all of you. So you can check out their videos, check out their content, go check out the specs, and just see exactly how powerful this thing is. Because if you're looking for that next level of moving head, something that's going to raise the production value of what you do, you want to just start moving up a little bit more as a DJ, this is a great fixture to get yourself into.
Is that easily mountable?
It is easily mountable.
No, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
Yes,
you should have asked. Are there any questions?
There are mounting brackets that come with this. They come with the unit, basically using O clamps. And again, using the right O clamp is going to be important as well when it comes to mounting. It is a little heavier than their 355Z, but again, it's a lot brighter, it's a lot bigger, and it has a lot more value to it. The cool thing with this light, it actually has a hanging mode and a totem mode built into the system. Oh. So when you program it or you're using it in auto mode, when you put it in totem mode, it knows that exactly where you want it to aim and what you want it to do. So it's got a lot of cool built-in features as well. Again, I think you can see a lot of those specs if you go to their website. And of course, hopefully later this week on the DJ Jer YouTube channel. Yes, yes. Keep posted. Keep posted. Jeremy, thank you very much. This is Jeremy Brech from Chauvet DJ. We're at the Virtual Expo 2015.